to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, and I'm delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Joe Fournier, all the way out in Miami. Now, Joe, like I said to you before I pushed record there, I've been watching you on Instagram. You're training hard, brother. You're training hard.
I know. They say tragedy, brings you into a mental space where you can grind it out. And I broke up with my missus, so she's been acting like a total tart. So I just went, you know what? I'm going to ignore that. Hit the gym every day, twice a day, and it's been a blessing in disguise. I've cut the weight super fast and sparring 3 times a week, and it went from doing nothing to now training like I'm fighting for a world title.
Well, I said, Joe, like you were on a sort of roll, like you won a version of the WWE title, then you fought David Haye in a fight that probably you never thought you'd ever get to fight somebody like David Haye with his caliber, and then it just sort of I was lucky enough to be in Miami for your fight with David Haye. But then it just suddenly stopped. The training, the fights.
Well, women are a distraction. Right after that fight, I met my bird. She, wants to go on holiday. She's never been to Italy. She's never traveled. And then the next thing you know, she had 4 kids. So I take on 4 kids. And when between running my companies, managing, taking the kids to school, jiu-jitsu, all the things you do when you're, now a family man. Bear in mind, I've never had a kid in my life. And so when you're going to get down the boxing gym and hit the mitts and get back training? So money, business and family took over. And it's a story I'm sure a lot of fighters have. But yeah, so it was a little abyss. And then I kind of woke up, in September. I looked around. I'm like, Jesus, these ain't my kids. And although I love them dearly, I still got to live my life. And that's kind of what made the frictions for us to move in different directions. And then they say you only know the person you're with until you break up. And then I saw all of it. I won't bore the boxing fans with my issues, but it's been all over the tabloids. She's been messing about with some 63-year-old after me. So, so I just, I think she's more focused on the money than the love. Let's put it that way. But, I tracked it. I got the money too. So. You got to take the rough with the smooth. But no, it's been great for training because every time someone sends you something irritating on social media, look what she's doing now. You're like, don't worry about it. Go spar 6 rounds and I feel better about it. I just feel sorry for my sparring partners.
Well, I would have feel sorry for Tony Christodoulou come the 14th of January then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm going to smash straight through him. He's just a stepping stone, really. Like, he's a tough guy. That's why, I agreed to fight him because he's never really been stopped except one time in the UFC. He was also a Golden Gloves champion, so he can box as well. And it's just going to be a lot more competitive just picking on some random MMA guy like a Ben Askren, that can't punch his way out of a brown paper bag. So I think he's got a decent pedigree. Like you said, I haven't fought now in 13, 14 months, 15 months. So it's a good step. And then I'm also the alternate. So if Dylan Dennis does not show up, I'm fighting KSI on January the 14th.
What does that do for your preparation, though? Obviously, I know you want that KSI fight, but you're sort of half preparing for Tony rather than KSI.
Yeah.
Is that sort of like hindered you in any way for your preration? Are you preparing for Tony?
Well, listen. KSI trains with London shoot fighters. The guys have like 50 years of fight pedigree between them. They're not dumbasses. Michael Page, etc. Chisora, David Haye, they've coached, so they know what they're doing. They know that. So even if Dylan Dennis ain't ever going to show up, they ain't going to tell me, are they? They ain't going to, Joe, prepare for KSI. It's 12 weeks you got, because they're going to be looking, hold on, we got a top 10 WBA international guy. We got a novice, a very athletic, very hardworking novice is living a life, training hard. As you can see that if you do train really hard and you are dedicated, they do improve much faster than people that are half-assing it like I do, So, but they're not gonna give me advantage. They're gonna tell me a week before, aren't they? That's just the way it's gonna go. So maybe Tony Christodoulou is a red herring. Maybe I show up and Dylan Dennis don't show up. He didn't make the press conference, and then they go, "Oh, Joe, here you go. Here's $1 million. Jump in the ring." And I'm like, "All right, here's $1 million. It's $1 million."
Well, listen, I'll take that to fight KSI, no bother at all. But listen, like I said to you, I said that when I look at Dylan Dennis, right, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I feel like his whole persona is this bad guy on the internet, and if KSI beats him, then where does he go from there? So I think that whole, and when I'm looking at, do I think Dylan Dennis is going to show up probably 50% of me says no. So that's why I said to you, I think this KSI fight might be closer than what you think. So I sort of like it could be 50-50 whether you fight KSI on the 14th on March or April. So
yeah. Well, what they told me is if I get a nice knockout on the 14th, that I have KSI in May, and then another big fight in December as well. So they want me to fight 3 times for Misfit on the Zone Boxing. So I'm just waiting to see. You know, like I'm pretty laid back about all this because boxing isn't what pays my bills. So for me, it's just the fun and entertainment. It doesn't really matter who's in the ring, whether it's KSI, Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis, Tyron Woodley, Tony Crisadona. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to have fun and just kind of like put my skills on show. And good to be back in London.
That's what I said. Do you miss it? Do you miss the boxing? Do you miss London? Do you miss all this sort of side of things?
I miss London to a certain extent, like with regards to, all my local curry house, my local pub, all the things in Hounslow, all my mates. I miss all like the local restaurants I used to like and that like culture. But, you can't beat Miami, Andrew. I walk down the street, there's 10 out of 10s walking past me staring. Go to the beach every day after training, rest my legs, drink a real fresh coconut. I go back in the gym in the afternoon, it's still 28 degrees. Right, and you got sparring, endless sparring. You're close to New York, you're close to Mexico, where all my clubs are. So you can't beat where I'm at right now, to be honest. I do miss it for a weekend, but I don't really miss kind of the grayness, the cold, the freezing, all the crime that's happened recently, and all that craziness, that's going on. So, I miss it. I'm happy to come back, but I'm also gonna be happy to get on that plane and head back here.
Well, listen, you're making me miss Miami. I haven't been to Miami since your fight with David Hayes, so you're making me miss Miami, definitely.
You're a family man now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You ain't going to Miami anytime soon, mate.
No chance. No chance, unless I bring my wife and kid with me, mate. That's the only time I'm coming to Miami. Yeah. Obviously, it's been a 13-month outside the ring, so are we expecting a big knockout from you? Is that what you're looking for, to showcase your talent, to let everyone know who Joe Fournier is? I mean, that Misfits... Whether you've got ISO Speed, you've got Slim, you've got all these guys that everybody knows in that little boxing community in that Misfits. Maybe Joe Fournier, they don't know who Joe Fournier is yet. I
think I'm the only one I'm the only guy in that scene with real boxing credibility, right? So if you look at all the guys that are in there around there, from even Tommy Fury, right? Like, I'm a title holder, right? A legitimate world top 10 title holder. There's no one that's gone crossover. And by the way, I love Tommy Fury. I think he's a great dude, super, it's not disrespecting him, but out of everyone, he's the best out of all of them, right? So then you put me above him, really. You know what I'm saying? You put me above that guy as a boxer. So they're all good guys, like Slim. Slim, he looks like a handful. Like, he looks decent, right? Like southpaw, super awkward, looks like a chubby Manny Pacquiao kind of thing, And so there's some good dudes in it, and that's why it's interesting. That's why people are tuning in, because they want to see what would happen if Joe got in the ring with KSI. My strategy for KSI and my strategy for Tony would be 2 different things. Strategy for Tony is to get a highlight, show real knockout. Strategy for KSI is to batter him for 6 rounds, just to teach him manners. Let him throw whatever he wants at me and just stand in front of him. Go, okay, now what? What are you going to do? Because one thing about getting hit by a real pro fighter's square and getting hit by like even me, because remember, I started pro at 30, right? Even how hard I punch now to how hard I punched when I was 31 is a different game. So just being able to absorb those punches, being able, like, what the look on his face when he hits me with an overhand right, I take it on the chin, I smile at him and walk him down. What's he gonna do then? And that's what the fans want to see. They want to see the contrast of a novice fighting an experienced pro, and that's what I think we'll get that fight, because if he does well, even he's going into a different stratosphere. Even if he competes, he's going to go into a different stratosphere. So he has no lose against me. Whereas, like, he beats Dylan Dennis. Again, no disrespect to Dylan Dennis. He's never done nothing wrong to me. The guy's living his life. But you see him hit the pads the other day. He put out a video hitting the pads. It's like, it's another Ben Askren situation. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, like, even every vote KSI puts out, who should I fight next? Everyone's Joe Fournier. Because they want to actually see him fight someone, not like what he did last time with those two fights in a night. One guy, doesn't know what he's doing. The other can't hold his hands up. Like, people want to see real fights, and that's even that. And you see, like, the Anderson Silva Jake Paul fight. We spoke about that last time. No one cares anymore, because they want to see they want boxers to box. They don't care about, let's do the crossover. He's a celebrity. They don't want to see, and that's why the sales are so shit for that fighter. his last 3 fights because he ain't fought a boxer. So people are like, oh, you know what? I ain't gonna bother tuning in. I'd rather go to my local, your call and watch a real fight and pay 50 quid, and guys really, doing it. So I think that's where it's going to move to. At some point, these guys have to fight Joe Fournier. They just can't keep fighting their mates and then going around in circles and YouTubers and MMA fighters and legends, because at the end, there comes a point where they want to see a real boxing fight. Yeah. And I think KSI, he has a different heart to the other guys. And that's why he's entertaining it. Because he don't need to fight me if he didn't want to. Mm-hmm. Right? So I would give him hats off to your respect. Because he could just swerve me, fight Dylan Dennis, go on and fight Logan Paul again, probably get paid 10 times more than fighting me. So why would he fight me? He'd only fight because he's taking boxing seriously. He really wants to prove himself. And he wants to know where he's at. And I'm nearly 40. I'm 40 in January 23rd, 10 days after the fight. So it's not a bad fight for him. I'm just a very fresh 40.
A young 40, mate. You're a young 40.
What? You're a young
40. You're a young 40. Definitely a young 40.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask about the knockout on the 14th is because if people don't know, you've not gone the distance. If you David Haye fight, you went the distance, but that was more like even though it was a fight, because I seen David did hit you, he cracked you a good shot, so it was a fight, but it's not put on your box rec, it's not on your record. So your record right now is
all these fights are all in the exhibition kind of realm, aren't they?
Well, you're 9-0, 9 knockouts. You've got 100% knockout ratio. If you fight KSI, is that going to be? Are you going to continue that 100% knockout ratio with KSI?
Yeah, but I want the TV time. I'm gonna knock him out in the last round. I want to just bludgeon him. I want to enjoy it. I haven't done any rounds. The last time I've done 8 rounds was David. In 40 months. So if they do split it around, because obviously if I do go and fight KSI, what's the next progression to that? Logan Paul probably, right? So I want to get the rounds in on TV. Me going out there and just steaming through him, knocking him out, that ain't going to help me, because for sure then Logan Paul ain't going to fight me. They're going to be like, yeah, fuck that. I'll never get another fight again. That's what happened when I knocked out Raycon so easily. Just walked him down and went bang, bang. And the next fight was meant to be Logan's brother. And he left the promotion because they were like, yeah, fuck that. We don't want this. So it's a real unique thing where you got to win, but not win where you scare everyone. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm telling them my game plan.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You whisper in the ear, you're going to knock them out in the 8th round. Is it Logan Paul or Jake Paul you want? Why Logan over Jake? Because Jake seems to be the legitimate boxer here. James seems to be the one that's sort of...
But he's already bowled it. He's already run away 10 times. I'm just bored of it. It's a bit like Tyson Fury and Joshua.
Right.
What? I don't know their story, what's happening between them, and I like them both, so I'm not picking sides. But just the narrative that Tyson's saying is, well, he don't want to fight me, so I'm not going to keep chasing him. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't know if that's true or not, but just let's assume what has been said is true, is that, well, Joshua's got great fights ahead of him. Good luck to Joshua. And Fury's got some great fights ahead of him. Good luck to Fury. So it's like, why do we have to keep talking about us fighting if he's never going to want to fight?
Yeah.
Because stylistically, it's a bad style matchup for Joshua. But there's other matchups that are like Deontay Wilder, Joshua, that will be a great style matchup for him. You know what I mean? And they're all well level at the end of the day. No one's, I see them all as the best of the best this genre of heavyweights. They're doing great. So with him, he just avoids it every time. We're on the same promotion, the same paid deal. They offered him 10 million quid Triller to fight me. And I don't think he's getting 10 million quid to fight Anderson Silva or Tyron Woodley too. So why not? Because he doesn't want to fight me. Because he knows that I stand in front of him, I'll trade with him. I ain't gonna put there's bad blood there, right? So I'm gonna walk him down. And so he'll avoid me. He'll talk to Tommy Fury. He'll talk to this guy. He'll talk to that guy. And so Logan, on the other hand, when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do something. Out of the 2 brothers, Logan's way bigger. Mm. Logan's massive compared to his brother. He's a genuinely an A-list celebrity, right? So for me, it's like he's part of Misfits. So rather stick it in the where the promotion is at, right? Be part of Misfits. But I have no interest in that other dude. He's just for me, even his brand value. As you see the pay-per-view sales, the last 3 have flopped. So it was like, how does that? Well, no one cares about him anymore. It's kind of done. It's kind of sell by date is over, And you see that in business as well. Mm. You see Tiger and Piccadilly back in the day was the place to go, and now it's done. That's kind of how I see him. Whereas his brother has built $1 billion drinks business in Prime. with KSI. They're smashing all over. They got their podcasts and doing things. So for me, it's more exciting to fight Logan than his brother. It's more exciting to fight KSI. I think KSI is better than his than Jake anyway. I think he's the best one.
How do you get Logan Paul though? How do you get him to fight? How do you get him? How do you entice Logan to fight you? Because he said
who's Logan gonna fight besides? Think about it.
Well, he
Who
said
is in that pedigree of celebrity boxing?
Andrew Tate. He said he would come back and fight Andrew Tate of all people.
All right, fair enough. Andrew Tate's a good option, right? So Andrew Tate.
Really? I've not heard him speak about anyone else.
No, so let's count out 5 opponents. Andrew Tate, fair enough. Tommy Fury, fair enough. Tyron Woodley's lost twice. Does anyone really want to see him fight again? No offense to the guy. I'm sure he's a nice bloke. Probably not, right? So that he's out. So then who's left? KSI, they've already fought twice. Jake's with a different promotion. They ain't going to fight his brother. Probably ain't going to fight KSI unless... What? Me. Right. So you got me, Tommy Fury, Andrew Tate. So they want to keep this promotion going for more than a year. At some point, they got to phone me. So I fight him now. I fight him in January. I fight him in May. I fight him in December. At some point, they got to pick up phone. Even if I would lose to KSI, I'm still in the mix because no one's ever going to knock me out. And if I would lose, it'd be super controversial, I'm sure, because they're not going to outclass me. Let's put it that way, right? So I could lose and still get the fight because they got no one to fight. And that's the thing is the UFC does a great job at putting fighters together, which can lose and come back. Like McGregor's lost 2 in a row, but McGregor's a brand. So guess what? He comes back straight to fight number 1, interim title, world title. I'm that guy in that world. Because it don't matter. They still want Joe Fournier there. You know why? Because I sell fucking loads of tickets. I sell loads of pay-per-view. I'm a brand that people want on the show. No one can flex on me. I've got more money than the whole promotion, right? So it's like where they want to go. They need Joe Fournier characters. So if Misfits is going to grow the similar way to UFC, this UFC, like Adesanya just lost. He'll then go fight the number 2 to then go fight the number 1. It doesn't matter if you lose. Whereas boxing organically was this elitist, unbeaten record thing. Well, if you look at Derek Chisora, his biggest payday was after losing 9 fights. It don't matter because why? Derek Chisora, even though, he's lost 9 fights, he's a character. People wanted to see the boogeyman, the bad guy. Can he do it? The underdog. So winning and losing that is not really as important as it used to be when you had the Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 cherry picking their fights. Now it's about, let's watch fucking cool fights. People really go out and have a scrap. And that's why they want to see KSI. Why do people want to watch Dylan Dennis? Because they fucking hate him. Right? What's he ever done in sport? What's he actually ever done? He never made to the UFC. Right? What's he done besides being Conor McGregor's mate?
Got fly kicked by Khabib after the Conor fight. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So it's not about, but it's entertaining to watch Dylan Dennis try and box now KSI. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to say is it's become like a round robin. It's kind of become like a football league, It's less like a knockout championship in a football league. Who's going to win the most fights? Because I could fight KSI, for example, and knock him out, lose to Logan. Does that mean I can then fight Jake? You see what I'm saying? People want to see it. They want to see one way or another who's the best of the best, and they all got to fight each other at some point. So that's cool about Misfits because that other guy, Anthony Taylor, the little guy that keeps calling me out, like I'm never going to fight the guy that's 2-5, right? But anyway, he's lost 2 fights, and then he's won 2 fights, and then he's lost, and he's still there. Why is he around? Because he keeps talking, and he keeps trying to be in the mix, and gets 20 grand a fight, 40 grand, whatever he's getting, right? But he's made. That's what people want. Oh, now it's Anthony Taylor versus this guy, or it's this guy versus this guy, and that's what I think KSI is doing with Misfits is very smart. Is now there's a group of guys, they're all fighting each other, win or lose, because you can lose to this guy, you can beat this guy. You lose. Imagine if you got, Tyson Fury, Usyk, Wilder, Joshua, 6-8 guys, and you did that. Who did it? It wasn't Sauerland actually that did that.
No, the World Boxing Super Series, World Boxing Super.
Yeah, the Super Series, right? It was fucking cool, and that's kind of they're doing the league version of the Super Series. And if you look at it from, because I'm a businessman, that's how I see it, right? I see it a bit different than everyone else is looking at it. It's pretty fucking cool because you then build the character's brand. People start to know everyone. Now did you know Slimmy Hendrix or Slimmy Jim, whatever his name is, Salt Bay, the slim guy?
Yeah.
I had no idea who he is till then KSI put him on. I never watched his YouTube channel. I have no idea. And I was like, Jesus, that guy's decent. You know, so you get all these guys now. People now he has a fan base, and that's actually what should be happening in boxing. Is everyone should be fighting everyone. Everyone should be competing with everyone, and it shouldn't be like, oh, let me fight nobody till I'm 22-0, and then get a, you know, be ranked number 3 and get a world title shot and hopefully win. Because that's why people stop watching boxing. And that, you know, and Fury and Usyk fight, if that happens, that's gonna be the first time where 2 guys went, let's do it. You know,
at the top of the game as well, yeah.
At the top of the game, and that's what I think is going to be interesting. That's why I think Misfits is doing so well, and DAZN is still going with them as a partner, because no one's doing this.
Can I tell you something quite interesting then, Joe? I was with Calla in Newcastle for Kelly versus Troy Williamson fight, and I said to Calla, like, I've done a little bit. I says, could you get me a fight? And he says, Coogan's already spoke to me about this, and then we spoke. So there's actually maybe a small chance, that I might be fighting on one of these Misfits cards as well.
Oh, no way. We'll share a changing room.
Yeah, we'll share a changing room. As long as I'm not fighting you, Joe, I'm happy.
Yeah. Me too. I don't want to mess with you, dude.
No, I'm too small for you, I think, Joe. I think you're a bit too big for me. But yeah, I like just talking about a brand. You're talking about Anthony Taylor and yourself. You've got these brands. You've got the 9-0, 9 knockout record to fall back on. You're a businessman. You've got this. You've got that. You've got this persona, this character that you've built, and you're talking a good game. You're talking a good game on Instagram as well. Now I've seen the Misfits thing that they put up and you've shared on your Instagram as well. When you talk a good game. You've got don't want to sound disrespectful, but you've got the gab. You know what I mean? You can talk.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of fans like. They like you said, Jarrett Gisora, the boogeyman, the bad guy, the good guy, the guy that talks shit. Let's see if he can get knocked out then because he talks so much shit. That's what I think that you bring to this sort of thing as well. And it's refreshing, I think, to see it, because I might have to start talking shit as well then to get myself.
Well, the irony is I'm not actually talking shit about any of these guys. I'm just telling the truth. And the people never do that, right? They always front in on being a tough guy, being a bagger. I said, I respect what KSI is doing, because guess what? He went from nothing. I don't know how much money his parents have. I know he went to private school, but that ain't hard. You know, parents can scrape it together. But he's got $1 billion drinks business. You got to take your hat off to the kid, right? So am I, when I get in the ring, still going to smash his head in? Yeah. But do I have to scream it every day? I'm going to smash your head in. I'm going to smash. No one cares, because it's like, I'm going to just do it in the ring. Poor old Tony Christodoulou, he's going to get smashed. And he ain't done nothing wrong, but that's the only way I get that fight. Do you understand? So when I'm saying it, I'm just being truthfully honest. And the same what I said as well is, one thing I like about KSI, he's kept it real. And I said that it was very hard for me growing up in Hounslow and trying to like make it and move with the movers and shakers, trying to make money and hustle when I was 16, 17, 18, networking. And if you tell someone you're from Hounslow, they don't want to meet you if they grew up in Chelsea or Notting Hill or Mayfair. And one thing that I am proud of, like I said before, is where I came from now is something that's really important to me. And it's something that I talk about a lot, because I was too embarrassed to tell people before because they would judge me. And now people would see you being real as a good thing. Whereas before it was all fake. And that's kind of one thing I like about social media, is you can actually put yourself out there with who you generally are. And one thing about Misfits is that's what they're doing. Those kids are getting out there, like wherever you want to take it. And a lot of people said this before me, is they are putting their balls on the line. They're putting their reputation on the line. They're putting their balls on the line. And they're being real. They're being naked in that ring, essentially, right? And that is why I'm fighting on Misfits, because I do respect every single one of those people, whether I like their personalities or don't like their personalities. They're actually going out and putting the gloves on like I did 10 years ago and actually trying. And look what I've done in 10 years. And some of these kids are 22, 23, 24. You never know. They might win an international title. And so I kind of really appreciate what they're doing in this kind of whole round robin, even the fact that you can get on, you know what I mean? Because that'd be a dream come true for you, even one fight. And that's how I started. It was just one pro fight. So I could tell my future kids, hey, daddy was a pro boxer, you know? And that's the point, is they're creating dreams, they're creating legacies, they're creating brand building, and they're sharing it. It's not being selfish, you know? And that's kind of what I appreciate. So if KSI calls me last minute, will I jump in with a day's notice? Yes, because he deserves it. Because he deserves to have a good opponent, and he deserves it because he's doing everything else for everyone else. And sometimes you got to give back. And I'm happy to put my body on the line, even though I ain't trained for a 6-rounder. I've been training for a 4-rounder, even though I ain't trained for KSI at all, because no one's told me, look, you got the chance. Dylan Dennis is putting out his videos. So I'll still jump in. Listen, it's a fight. At the end of the day, he was breaking into my house. What would I do? Go, oh, what's your record? I didn't get a train. I just smashed him in the face.
Yeah.
You know, so... yeah, that's where it's at. So it's actually really cool. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I hope you get on the card.
Well, listen, I might not be in this one. I might be one in March, I think, or I might push for the. If you're out in May, I might try and push for that one because me and Coogan are going to do like an IFL thing. With Coogan's going to be in my corner.
Okay.
I'll have him up at the press conference talking shit, no doubt. I'll try.
All right.
Shit, and then it'll be good.
I'll be your water boy.
Well,
You can
that's
say
all
I had the richest water boy in the game.
That's what Coogan's good for, to be honest, Joe. Let's be honest.
But it'll be like Boss, sparkling Boss.
Some prime.
Yeah.
Listen, January 14th, man, I'm going to try and get down for the day because, like I said, I want to get on his card, so I might try and get down for the fight night and try and rustle up some feathers. So, what can I witness on January 14th from Joe Fournier?
It's going to be an explosive knockout. That's what we're training for. We're not doing any sparring past 4-6 rounds. We're just going straight, super high intensity and really explosive, just kind of like cat and mouse. Because he's very slippery, Tony. Seen some of his UFC fights. He changes stances. He goes powerful, orthodox. Those. It's a very tricky kid. But at the end of the day, I think I'll get to him. I'll start at the body and work my way up. It's going to happen sooner or later. I don't think he'll get past the second round. If he does, he'll definitely get past the third round. I've only got 4 rounds to do it, so I can't really.
It's only a 4-round fight. Is it 4 rounds? Is
it's only a
it?
4-rounder. Yeah.
That's a sprint. That's a sprint. Yeah.
It's a sprint. Yeah, that's what we're training for. That's what we know is coming because you get out there, you lose the first 2 rounds, you got a problem. Imagine I get outpointed by him. So I got to put him away.
That's it. Well, that explosive knockout. That's what you've said, and that's what. Listen, if anything to go by with your last 9 fights in the professional ranks, then I think you're on to a winner there. But listen, Joe, thank you so much, man, for your time as always, man. Listen, enjoy Miami. Hopefully, one day I can get back out there. But
and we'll have a few beers after the fight.
100%, brother. 100%. Listen, Joe, always a pleasure, my man. And listen, see you on the 14th.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
Cheers,
Andrew. Take care. Bye.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.